Poetics, good morning, man. How you doing?
How you doing, Evolution? I'm here. I'm feeling pretty good today. I'm feeling pretty
hey,
good. How about
hey,
yourself?
hey, man. I'm feeling pretty good too, man. Let's go on and get into this. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go.
What's going on? What's going
What's going on? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I am Evolution, and this is what's going on. And this is my man on the side, Mister.
Poetics. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing today?
Hey, man. I hope y'all doing as good as we are, man. We feeling the vibe this morning. It's pretty good this morning. Beautiful day. Ready to get into this, man. But before we get into this, how about we get into the sponsorship and get that out the way? How's that? Golden Diamond Productions. Kind of doing them out of order, but oh well. As long as it get mentioned, it's great. Uh, JG's Lounge, TGBTG, and Vive. VYV comes a little vial. You shake it, you sniff it, and if you're a little sluggish, it'll give you a little boost for the day and get you on your way. If you want to support the show and get that discount, go to myvibe.com and type in Lucian 15, Lution 15. All right. Man, August the 3rd already, man. August the 3rd already.
Man,
Hey, man, we starting our third season today. Can you believe it?
wow. Wow.
Yeah. Time flies, man. We grinding, man, getting it done. Ah, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching our show and tuning in and liking us and following us and all that good stuff. So, today's title, it's a long one, but it's relevant. It goes a little something like this. Are you a believer? Are you an achiever? Or are you a deceiver?
Mm,
Off the title, man. What you got, bro?
I think we've got a lot for that. Yeah, I think we got a lot for that.
Man, this is heavy, man. This is heavy. Probably gonna wake and shake the bones of a lot of people this morning, especially when they realize where they fall in this category, man. Uh, hmm, let's go.
Let's get it.
So, with the title, are you a believer? Are you an achiever? Or are you a deceiver? We started off like this with questions, man, to kind of get y'all's thought process and wheels spinning for the day. The first on the list is believer. We're gonna knock out believer first, and this is not typical how you know how most people look at believer, but it does wake the mind thoughts up and get you going on where you might sit. First one under believer. Do you do things based on faith? What you got for that, bro?
Man, I think that's great. Because of course, as a believer, it's funny. I often think of the way we kind of grew up in the
Mm-hmm.
church,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, the whole ideology and the whole foundation is
Mm-hmm.
faith.
Right, 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 right.
So, obviously, if you're someone operating on a level of faith,
Mm-hmm.
that's probably going to put you, or at least you're going to have attributes of someone who's a believer, obviously.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. And to broaden that a little bit, I would have to go here, man, and I'm gonna ask you questions, kind of like to strengthen my example, and I'll do it like this. Do you think Michael Jordan is a believer?
It has to start somewhere, so I would say yes.
Um, do you think Elon Musk is a believer?
Absolutely.
Do you think Let me do a good one here. Let me do a good one here. Kamala Harris is a believer.
Yes.
They just dubbed her. Hope I say this right. Kamalananan or something like that, man. I don't know if you heard that or not, man. But it's crazy. But they dubbed her Kamalananan, something like that. It's combining phenomenon and Kamala Harris or Kamala's first name into one. Uh, yeah, it's a tongue twister, man. I ain't good with, especially
Wow.
early in the morning. But the reason I mention those things, man, is because you got to believe in something, especially when you are going for something. You know,
Hmm.
uh, what you got, bro?
Absolutely. I mean, when it comes to, chasing something, chasing a dream, chasing a vision,
Hmm.
obviously it starts with a thought, and you have to have some belief that you can actually achieve the thought that came into your mind in the first place, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And then I'm gonna tie what we both said together. So traditionally, when people mention believers or do you believe or whatnot, it's mostly geared towards a higher power, a deity, a faith, a religion, whatever. But I guess we also want to remember and point out that we have to have some type of belief in ourselves. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? What you got for that, bro?
Yeah, man. I think you kind of went right into it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to have. It's not just something that's applicable to, a faith-based type of thing or religious type of thing, but it's
Mhm.
applicable to life.
Boom. Hey, man. I say no more. I think that's it. Straight point blank. All the all the interference is out the way on that one. So let's move right into number two, man. When it comes to the title today being Are You a Believer? Are you an achiever? Or are you a deceiver? Our second bullet point for the day is do you do things based on goals? What you got, bro?
I mean, yeah, I think if if you're gonna, I think if you don't have a goal in life, even if it's short term to long term, mid goals, I mean, if you're not operating in the level of where you don't have any goals, it's going to be hard for you to have any belief, right?
Boom. So you're already doing what we need to do today. You're tying everything into you're linking it all in. That's perfect, man. Based on goals, man. I mean, you gotta be goal oriented, whether you do it on purpose or not, right? Because
Right.
even if your goal is to go to the grocery store and stick to the things that are on your list, 9 times out of 10, you're gonna maybe find what's on the list, but you're gonna also find something else that you didn't think about when you was writing that list, or you're gonna see something that you like, that looks pretty good. Let me go ahead and snatch that up. I'm blowing the budget, but man, that looks good. What you got for that, bro?
I completely agree, man, in terms of, especially if you go to a certain kind of store.
Mm,
So a lot of times, let's all face it. A lot of times somebody will go to Walmart and they planned on getting this or that, and
uh-huh.
then you end up coming back with a whole lot more than what
Oh
you
yeah.
actually went for.
Yeah, man. I mean, and your goal is achieved, but you actually go a little bit further beyond that because you found something on sale, or you found something that you've been looking for, or you've always wanted but just never seen, or they never had it, or you just seen something that got your attention,
Right,
right?
right. Exactly.
Right. So yeah, man. Basically painting the picture or starting to paint the picture that hopefully y'all are seeing that regardless of what your beliefs are, you got some type of faith, right?
Hmm.
Um, Regardless of what your goals are, sometimes we don't hit our goal, but we get close. Sometimes we hit it, and sometimes we go beyond it. You know what I'm saying? You got
Mhm.
anything for that, bro?
Yeah, man. I think when you're looking at your goals, you have to basically count and celebrate every victory in life, right?
Boom.
Because a lot of times, sometimes life kind of hits you and bombards you with things that you're not necessarily prepared for.
Right,
Some things
right.
are just hard to be prepared for, right?
True.
Um, but so when you have those really good moments or those really great moments, celebrate them in stride because you have to have that balance.
Balance. There it is again, man. That word balance just
I
finds its
know,
way
right?
into our podcast.
Every podcast does it.
Hey, man, that's a good word, though.
Hey,
And balance is really what people should have in their life anyway.
I
And if
think
it's
that's kind
off
of.
balance, yeah, go ahead, bro.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say. I think that's just one of the centerpieces of our show. Balance.
Man, look, man, if your life is off balance in whatever way is tilted, I'm sure you're probably feeling those struggles. But what we do on what's going on is try to help you to find out and realize really what's going on so you can help balance that lifestyle of yours and do things a little bit better. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Uh, even a plane every now and then got a tilt, right?
Wow. I like
But
that. Great
yes,
analogy.
sir. Yes, sir. Thank you. So let's move on to number 3, man. Uh, do you do things based on facts? I hear the youth today, man, using that a lot. They be having a conversation and whatnot, and they be like, facts,
Facts.
facts, facts.
Guilty.
Um, right. So, that's one of the things that's happening in conversation today that I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Some of that stuff to be said, I'm like, I'm not really with that. Why they
Right.
even do that? Why they even go there? But facts is something that I can get down with and be relate to and understand and appreciate. Me, I'm definitely an individual that works on facts, man. If it ain't factual, it ain't really something I'm interested in. You know what I'm saying? In conversation, in communication, that's what I look for. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can come yapping, and if it ain't got no actual factual, I'm like, you just running your mouth. You know what I'm saying? I want the numbers. You know what I'm saying? I want the statistics. I want the facts. What you got, bro?
Yeah, man. I'm very similar. Obviously, if you don't have, if there's something that's not factually oriented, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
um, in your, like you said, in conversations, it's kind of like preaching to the choir in this scenario because we actually completely and totally agree.
Hey, man.
It's kind of hard to kind of get behind it and
Yeah.
have that as something that you're, I guess, in support of.
True. In support of. That's a good way to say it. But there's people out there. Only two, couple of them, who struggle with that, man, and sometimes even can't even find the difference between something that's factual and something that's not factual.
Right.
What you got for that, bro?
Yeah, I think there's a big difference, a huge difference in facts and
Mm,
opinions.
boy,
And I think
boy.
I think a lot of times people kind of well, my opinion is of the mindset of this, which doesn't necessarily make it incorrect because two things can be true at the same time.
Right, right.
But if that opinion isn't rooted on something solid,
Hmm.
it basically won't be able to stand.
Basically, ladies and gentlemen, what poetics is saying is if this color is in fact blue and you're trying to present it to everybody like this color is red or green or brown or burgundy or tan, anything other than what it is, I hope you, I
Man,
hope you, I hope you get what I'm saying. But there's people
man,
out there like that.
right.
There's people out there like that, and I've seen some of them. I met some of them. I even talked to some of them, man. And then when I talk to or meet or line up with those people, I just end up doing this and walking away. You can't tell them nothing. They're not receiving anything. They're not listening.
Hmm.
They are just not a factual based person. They are all about opinionated stuff. Have you ever crossed somebody like that, bro?
More times than I care to.
Man, and usually people like that, you can say something point blank. You know what I'm saying? You can say something like, "Today is Saturday," right? And somehow, some way between you saying that and them hearing it, in between the time it get to their ears and their brain, they got something else, bro. And I don't know how you can get something else out of today is Saturday, but I tell you, there's people out
There's
there that
people
get
that absolutely.
man, man, and they're everywhere, man. And we gonna get into that on another one, but
Man.
you got anything on that, bro?
Uh, just more of a ditto reinforcement. It's yeah. I think people have to just kind of start to live a little bit more in reality.
Man, good word, reality. I tell you what, we gonna move it on. So far in our topic today, are you a believer? Are you an achiever? Or are you a deceiver? And we're starting out with believer. We done already touched on, do you do things based on faith? Do you do things based on goals? And do you do things based on facts? Now, we're going to get into, do you do things based on a gut feeling? What you got for that, bro?
Man, I think that this is a bit of a slippery slope kind of one because sometimes when you're operating on a gut feeling,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it could be a good thing,
Yep.
and sometimes it could be not so favorable, right?
Right.
But I do think that in more cases than not, if you're using, I would say that gut feeling in increments,
Mm-hmm.
it can turn out to be a really awesome thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because sometimes you can kind of see something that someone else or others may not be able to see. And then it's kind of like, they're like, why would you do this? Before they see the results or something. And you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I just have a feeling. I just have a
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then, time passes by and it turns out that the decision that you made turned out to be the correct one. And everybody else is like, man, I should have did that too.
Right, man. And I use the term, sometimes you see it with how you feel, and that's exactly kind of what it is, man. You're seeing something by the way you feel, and it hadn't happened yet. You know what I'm saying? So, um, interesting, man. And I'm gonna highlight some things that may help people understand what a gut feeling is. Let's say you're an officer of the law, you know, and you're going into this convenience store, right, to get you a coffee and a donut. that don't happen too often, right?
Oh my goodness.
But before you go into the store, you get this gut feeling like you need to be on alert, right? And then you don't know why, you have no idea. You just stopped at this convenience store just to get a coffee and a donut. You know what I'm saying? And you get this gut feeling. And let's say you got somebody in the area, a partner in your car, say, "Hey, why don't you come on in here with me?" You know what I'm saying? Let's just do this together, right? And you go in, and somebody's in there up to some mischief, right? That's a gut feeling. You know what I
Right.
mean? And because you called in a little help, you were able to isolate and resolve that situation or deter that situation from occurring,
Right.
right? So that's what that gut feeling is all about, man. And it happens in anything else too, like business. You're trying to do a business transaction with somebody, and everything sound good, and everything's presented to look good, but in that gut, you're like,
This isn't it.
just something's missing. Something ain't, I
Something's not
can't
right,
can't
or
put my finger on it, right? But
right.
yeah, something just ain't right. And then you decide to say, you know what, I'm gonna fall back and just give me a minute, right? And then within the next couple of days or whatever, you discover something that just ain't
That's
right,
not
right?
right. Mm-hmm.
So you approach that business transaction again, say, hey, look, this is what it is. I'm good with all this, and this, but you got to change that or take it out. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
What you got, bro?
I love that point, man, because I always call it once, first, when you know how people say I should have went with my first mind, which is funny because we only have one mind. So
Absolutely.
I always call it first intuitive thought,
Yeah, yeah.
and a lot of times we just have to do a actual better job of listening to more of our own discernment.
Yeah, paying attention,
Right.
which leads us right into our next one and our last one for the category believer, which is do you do things based on forethought?
Mm,
Man, we run it right like we should, man.
right.
Um, I'm gonna let you go first on that, bro.
I tell you what, it's I tell you, it's kind of like gratifying when
Mm,
you can kind of have a little bit of almost, dare I say, divine insight into something
yeah, yeah,
where you're kind of, a lot of people kind of look at you like, what are you thinking here or what are you thinking there? And I mean, I know I mentioned it before, but a lot of times you make a decision and it turns out to be one of the better decisions you've ever made. And
right.
then people are looking at you like, how in the world did you know to make this decision right here at this particular point in time?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, man.
and and it just kind of goes to show that, you know, we have to listen to that voice.
Mhm. Sometimes it's not a voice, bro. I'm gonna take it here. Sometimes you get like a little feeling as if it's like deja vu, like you've been there before.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? Like you've had a dream a long time ago and you're actually in this situation right now, or you just feel like you've been in this situation before, you've been there before. So they call that deja vu, of course. Um, but if you are paying attention to that moment, you'd be like, man, I feel like I've been here before. Then you already have that forethought. So you already have like the jump on somebody else on what to do. It's kind of like something as simple as playing a sport. You know what I'm saying? You play a sport, and even though you practice and you have all these games and whatnot, and you come to the understanding of getting the experience to where if something lines up a certain way after you do it so many times, you don't even think about it anymore. You just react. Your body just takes off. So it's like, say for instance, in volleyball, you're in the game, but you ain't really focusing. But as soon as that ball get in a certain spot, you react. Bow, spike it on somebody's face, right? Same with basketball. You know what I'm saying? If you're in a certain position and the ball go up in the air, you don't think you jump up and grab that sucker and dunk it, right? And whoever's in the way, they better get out the way.
Yeah.
uh, I mean, they can go on and on forever, man. But what are your thoughts on that, man?
Yeah, man. It's like it's hard to describe, but it's like a form of cognitive thinking, man, that doesn't
Yes.
require thought in the actual moment
Yeah.
because you've gotten so used to certain aspects of what you're doing routinely
Mm-hmm.
that when you're in the middle of doing it, like a sporting event, that's perfect. You're
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like, it's just natural to do certain things in a certain time when you see a certain defense or a certain angle. I mean, it just kind of it just kind of flows naturally, and it's like you know what to do innately.
Absolutely, man. Innately. Let's go there. So, what we were talking about just now was things done off of repetition, things done off of practice, things done off of routine. But now, since you mentioned that, let's just say there's a group of 1,000 people in a room, right? Everybody not paying attention, everybody doing their own individual thing, and it could be like a public event or whatever. Uh, Everybody just talking, whatnot. Let's say a gunshot goes off. Everybody like at the
Right.
same time, no matter what you got going on, once all the ears hear that pop, 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 everybody at the same time, universally, no matter what's going on, are all of a sudden unified and respond the same way. What you got, bro?
Wow. Yeah. I mean, those are definitely, I mean, critical moments like that. You know, people understand what it means to kind of see things the way everyone else in the room actually sees things.
Absolutely, man. And you know what? It don't have gender ain't got nothing to do with it. Race ain't got
Race,
nothing to do with it.
ethnicity, man.
Nothing. It's a human trait that's automatic. It's a defense mechanism that's built inside of us. And no matter how confused you are in life, no matter how full of anxiety you are or whatever else you got going on, no matter how evil or good you are, something like that go
Right.
on, you
The
ducking and running.
I'll say it this way: the beauty of it is, we're not like deer. We have a real big time sense of danger.
Absolutely, man. Oh man, that's funny. Oh shoot. So now those are all our bullet points for the first part of this topic, which is believer. Now we're gonna move into achiever. And we got some questions for that as well. So the first one up on the slot for achiever is, do you keep going?
Mm,
Sounds simple, sounds easy, but clearly it's not.
mm,
Let's just say you're running a mile. You know what I'm saying? 4 times around the track, right? First run around the track, you're like, oh, I got this. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Everything's smooth. It's easy. Get to that second one, start to breathe a little bit different. Start to feeling the muscles, right? And then you push on. You get to that third one, your body like, hey, dog, look, I'm gonna need a break soon or something. And then at that point, it's like, do I slow down? Do I start walking? Or do I say that's enough? But, a mile is 4 times around, you working on 3, you over the hump, right? Do you still keep going? That last lap, you're gonna have to push, you're gonna have to breathe, you're gonna have to struggle the muscles, but you can get through it. You can get through it. It ain't gonna be easy. You can get through it, but usually in life, that's how everything is. It starts off smooth, then you start to bump into little things here and there, and then just before that ending, just before you get there, oh, it get rough. You know what I'm saying? What you got for that, bro?
yeah, man, that's really perfect, man. I think the moral of that first part there is just perseverance, right?
Yes.
If you can find a way to continue to go
Mm-hmm.
and you don't stop,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the beauty of, you kind of used, a running analogy, so I'll keep it there as well.
Uh-huh.
I think people always forget that when they're in that race,
Mm-hmm.
it's a marathon and not a sprint.
Boy.
So sometimes you can start off great, and sometimes you fizzle out because you hit that rocky part where it's a little rough and
Hmm.
it becomes too tough to finish.
Yeah.
Sometimes you start out slow,
Hmm.
and as it gets more difficult, you find a way to be able to dig deeper, and you're finding that perseverance to be able to get closer to that finish line.
Absolutely. Build that momentum, man. I always say, if I don't say just keep going, sometimes I just say just don't stop. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
Once you get used to doing something, or once you develop those muscles to where you can run that whole mile comfortably, do you just run that mile or do you add another lap to it? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
So I have a lyric that I use in one of my songs. I say, I will never get comfortable or hit my max. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the more you stay uncomfortable, the more you feel that pain of the run, the race, the more you achieve it. You know what I'm saying? You're exercising the muscles, they're getting stronger, you're building them up, but you never letting them relax. You keeping that energy going, and it becomes easier because you become used to doing things that are uncomfortable. You never sitting still. You never just coming to a halt. You always moving. What you got for that, bro?
Yeah, man. I think that's spot on. You know, it people have to understand that when you're in that marathon of life,
Yeah,
the beauty of it is it's not really how you start. It's not even how you look midway through, but it's really how you finish that race, right?
absolutely.
And also, you said it in the beginning. It's if it were easy, everybody would do it.
Right, right,
So,
right.
just understanding that you have to keep going. I think the true here's a good lesson I've learned. You've only really failed when you quit. As long
Boy,
as you continue to keep going and you keep striving to achieve that goal, even if it
mm,
takes you longer to achieve,
yep.
then you have not failed. You're actually winning.
There it is. There it is. I got nothing for that. Moving on to the next. As far as achiever is concerned, do you seek results? Do you seek results, man? And I gotta say, bro, I'm definitely a seeker of results, man. That's all I do. If it ain't got no end result and I ain't working towards an end result, 9 times out of 10, I ain't even got involved. I ain't even involved with it. You know what I'm saying? I can't even be around certain people because they aren't result oriented. What you got, bro?
That's beautiful because it's just I for people like you and I, it's hard to be in the fight in something when you don't feel like there's a real purpose in it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if it doesn't kind of yield the result that you're looking for,
Hmm.
you're kind of like either I'm gonna change my strategy, or you might even change to something different altogether because you're like it has to make sense and it has to be something that's going to yield a positive result that you're looking for.
Absolutely, man. And that reminded me of keep bringing up basketball. Maybe it's time for me to hit the court. We play 21, man, and those who are familiar with 21 and know the rules,
Hmm.
you can definitely identify with this. A lot of times, I would get to the court late, and we wouldn't have enough people to play like uh, a full court, so we would play like 21. And the object of 21 is to get 21 points, of course. But if you get to a certain spot and you miss, they call it a bust, and your points go down. So I'm familiar with that, and I use it as a strategy. So when I enter a game or get there after the game has started, I'm like, yeah, I want to get in. And everybody else is like, well, we already at 12, or we already at 15, we already at 18. I'm like, so? I was like, don't mean y'all gonna win. You know what I'm saying? I start to junk already. As soon as I get there, I'm starting to junk. And then 9 times out of 10, even though I get started late, and I come in on fire, or with that result oriented mentality, 9 times out of 10, I can come back from zero and beat all whoever's playing and get that 21 before they do. What you got about that, bro?
I could directly relate to that. I mean, especially when someone is sitting on like a total of 18,
Yeah.
and maybe they finally can get to that 20th point, and we
Mhm.
all know, I mean, pressure makes diamonds, but it busts pipes as well. So
Absolutely.
sometimes somebody's at 20 at that free throw line for basically the game winner, and they know if they miss, they're going right back to 15 or 13, depending on how you play.
Right.
And it's
Boom.
like, that's all I need.
So with that example right there, I'm gonna recap on what we're talking about today, because we're talking about, are you a believer, are you an achiever, or are you a deceiver? So that example that we just used has definitely a lot of belief, which we talked about, faith and goals and facts and gut feeling, as well as forethought. So when I enter into that game, I'm all that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm all that,
Right.
because I'm ready to get it going. I'm ready to come in and take over and win that sucker. Uh, it's all about keeping it going. You know what I'm saying? You can't stop when you're behind, and you're definitely looking for the result of the W. So, what you got, bro?
I think it's I'm gonna keep it with basketball, man. You kind of got my brain working in that area now too.
All right.
So then there comes like I'll bring it up this way. There comes like a part of like your reputation perceives you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm,
Because maybe when you get to the court, the people who are already playing, you already know, they already know you.
mm-hmm.
And they're kind of thinking in their minds, if we can get this 21 before such and such get here, we have a chance to win the game. And
Right.
then when they see you, they like, all right, he's here. We done lost y'all. Let's go ahead and run team. So it's kind of like when your faith is so strong, your belief is so strong,
Mm-hmm.
when you're so result oriented, and when you're so strong in all these different categories, even others start to have a certain kind of faith in you.
Boom! There it is. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the moment right there. That's what it is right there, man. If you get so strong in your actions, in your efforts, in your abilities, with your faith and your belief, man, look out.
Right.
Look
Right.
out. That's what people start doing when they see you, when they hear your name. Like, oh yeah, they about theirs. They about getting theirs,
Right.
That's when you start to make things happen, man, because other people are already on board with supporting what you do. Man, that was beautiful, bro. And we ended up with, do you seek results?
Uh-huh.
So now we're gonna hop into when we're talking about the achiever. Do you focus on the positives? Man, go ahead, bro.
Man, I think we live in a world where people are so, dare I say, negatively influenced, or their thoughts are so negatively skewed in one direction, and they're always taught to see the glass as half empty and never half full.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, if people would literally just rearrange their thought process and their patterns on how they see and view things, they don't understand how much more fulfilling life would actually be. Because instead of you thinking again that glass is half empty, you're like, oh, it's half full. Just a little change in your perspective, gives you
Goes
a
a long
whole,
way.
yeah, absolutely.
Man, that was beautiful, man. I'm trying to figure out what I can come up with to even compete with that. Do you focus on the positives? Absolutely. Yes, I do all the time. Especially when I'm in a group of people who aren't positive. I got to use my level of positivity to not just keep myself positive amongst these negative people, but I got to supercharge my positiveness so that it can kind of start to filter off onto their negativity and change the way they look at things, man, which is really not easy to do because there's always one, bro. There's always one that no matter what you do or say or what you accomplish, oh, that wasn't all that. I could have
Right.
did that.
Right.
You
The
you think you
doubt,
are? Yeah, man. The doubter,
the hate.
the doubter, the hater, man. There's always a doubter and a hater in the
Always.
room, and no
Always.
matter what you do, what you say, they hit from that angle, man. Good night. What you got for that?
Man, in the spirit of what you brought up earlier with basketball,
Uh
I'm gonna go here one more time, y'all.
huh. Okay.
So, and everybody, especially when you play ball really heavy, and you're really in tune with the game,
Mhm.
everybody has seen a scenario where, let's face it, maybe a girl or a female woman comes onto the court and everybody like, oh man, we got a girl on the court. And
Time
I
to
always
represent.
I always kind of looked at it like I want to win with the girl on my team.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
while everybody was kind of like, man, I don't really want to play with a girl, I'm like, I'll take her.
Right.
And, being a little cerebral minded in the game of basketball, you have to understand that everybody has strengths no matter where their level is.
Uh huh.
So when you quickly find out, okay, what does this person do very well? Turns out that girl probably can shoot the jump shot.
Yeah.
So I make it a point to get her the ball in spaces that are going to make it easy for her to succeed,
Uh
knock
huh.
down the jump shot that she has. She scores the majority of the points and we win.
Man, man, dude, that's coming straight out of my playbook, man. It actually reminded me of a game setting that me and my the dudes that I work with, we met over, and I think it was Swope Park. We decided to go over there and play. When it was just us, and then later some people started showing up, because it's a park. So we up here balling, and this this girl shows up, this woman, this female, and we all look like me and you, right? She looked like your shirt, you know what I'm saying? So she was like, I got next, and everybody was like, that's how they was. I was like, okay, so she approaches us in this game. We
Uh-huh.
we in the middle of the hood,
Uh-huh.
and she talking about I got next. I'm like, she got a little game, you know.
Uh-huh.
Either
Yep.
she played for the school or the college or something, but she done played ball before because you don't get that, right?
Right.
That's abnormal. That's that white man can't jump type of stuff, right? Uh, so everybody didn't pick her up, man. I was like, so because me and my nephew, man, we was waiting, and nobody kept picking her up. I was like, you want to play? She's like, yeah. I was like, you running with us, and then we just gonna pick up who's left over. I was like, and I'll pick the two that's left over because I know these cats and I know what they're capable of doing. I said, so we already winning. And she was like, okay, dog. I got the two supportive teammates. We went in there and we ran all day, bro. We ran all day, and I would set her up. I would feed her, and then she was like a guard, so she could pass. So if she wasn't hitting me, I was hitting her, and if we wasn't hitting each other, we was hitting my nephew. We was playing 3-on-3, lighting them up, man. And then so they started talking junk, like, man, she a girl, you letting her do all that. I was like, okay. I was like, you switch then. You switch. So I put whoever was running him out on the girl, and then I started hitting her with them sick passes. She was tearing them up, man. And we was running all day, bro. And then I got hot. and I was lighting them up. I hit like 11 straight on them. And then my nephew got hot. He hit like 12 straight on them. And then I was like, it's your turn. I was like, we ain't even scoring this game. Dude, it was crazy. She was tearing them up. She was putting some threes on them. What? And yeah, we ended that day great. And to highlight your example, man, yes, it can be done. Uh, we had that achiever for sure that day, man.
Man. Wow.
Yeah,
Great
man.
story.
Yeah, it was a great day, a great game, and a great scenario, man. I don't know where she went after that, but we left the court very successful that day. So yeah, man, it don't matter who they are, it's how you play.
Right.
We was all positive, right? We got it
Exactly.
done. So moving on, unless you got more.
No, man, I think that was a great story, and I think drove home the point we were trying to make.
All right, let's do it. So the next one, when it comes to achiever, do you lead? Uh, and that's kind of incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that on purpose because of what I'm gonna bring up in a second. What you got, bro?
Oh man, I think that's a great question because some people have to recognize the qualities that they have versus the qualities they don't.
Mm,
And I will honestly just say, leadership is not a part of everybody's repertoire.
true.
So if you're in a position of leadership, obviously you want to have the leadership qualities that allow for you, and not only you personally and individually, but a collective success, right?
Yes.
I think that's the real purpose of leadership, is to help guide others into positions of being successful
Boom.
under your guidance, right?
Absolutely.
So I think that, being a leader is obviously going to go a huge way into being an achiever, because you're not only guiding your success, but you're guiding the success of others successfully.
Absolutely, man. And to kind of branch off a little bit further on that is, do you lead by example? And that's kind of how I am, man. I don't really do too much without being an example. That's actually where I start. My goal is to be an example as I lead, or uh, just to be an example. Period. So not even for people to follow me, but just to be an example, which is being a leader. You know what I'm saying? So my goal is to always raise the bar. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I'm not your average person, and I don't try to be. I don't go out being, arrogant with it, even though some other people might disagree, especially when I'm playing basketball. That's just my confidence seeping out my pores.
That's hilarious.
What you got, bro?
Yeah, man. I think in everything I do, since I do have, quite a few leadership qualities, I always try to, when I enter something or take on a new task, I always try to make it better than it was before I took over the reins, or prior to me starting, or what have you.
Absolutely.
So true story. When I started my current position that I'm in now, my current supervisor actually wasn't with us. He actually started after I did. And he was like, when he first got on the team, he was just kind of like, just doing a survey of, watching everybody based on their performance.
Right.
And, when he kind of, when he took over, he was just kind of like, dude, no matter what happens, I'm gonna have to franchise you. He was like, if there's a team shakeup that ever comes down the pipeline, you're going to be my untouchable. And I was like,
hey, there you go.
That's pretty cool,
That's
and
awesome,
it's
man.
humbling, man. So
Yeah. That's real cool, man. Leading by example, man.
man.
that's when you're doing stuff on a personal scale to where it draws others to support you, to follow you, to respect you, and protect you, man. A lot of people don't get that last one, but I get it, and it's only because I've had people come to me, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
and say things like, you know, I appreciate how you do. I'm watching you, and I'm learning from you by how you do things. You know what I'm saying? Or you get, hey, yo, somebody was trying to throw a little salt on your name. And I said, no, no, you can't do that. Not with him. You know what I'm saying? Because he ain't like that. You know what I mean? What you got for that, bro?
Yeah, man. It's one of those things where your character begins to
Boom.
actually speak for itself.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
I remember when I was at a different occupation a while back, and we would have conversations amongst each other,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody would say something that was kind of out of pocket, and you'd be
Uh,
like, "What the heck was that?" And one of my friends would always say, "That says a lot about your character," and it was just so funny
yes.
because I'm like, it was relevant, like
Absolutely.
if you do certain things or think certain ways and it's not the best,
Mm-hmm.
it does indeed say a lot about your character. So you want to make sure that you're actually doing things that actually build your character.
Seriously, man. Well put. So the last bullet on achiever in our presentation today is, do you take action? Man, wow. Do you take action? Do you want to go first? You want me to take at it?
Sure, why not? I'll take it.
Okay, cool.
It's hard to get any kind of result of a positive affirmation if you're not taking any action towards achieving anything, right?
Right, right.
So there's a big time saying of you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Boy, that basketball going again.
So I mean, if you're one of those people that are either afraid to shoot because you're afraid to step out of that comfort zone, and this could
Mhm.
be applicable to life. We're just using basketball analogies.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
if you're afraid to step out of your comfort zone, you're going to experience very little growth.
Man.
I realized myself more than ever over the last year or two
Hmm.
that by me stepping out of my comfort zone, that's when I've had the most success I've ever had in life.
Boy, there it is, man. And I'm gonna take it a different direction because we've been using the basketball
Hmm.
examples, but you brought into the basketball example a girl.
Hmm.
So I'm gonna bring a girl into this example.
Okay.
When it comes to take action, there's a lot of beauty out there, man. A lot of beauty, a lot
Man,
of beauty,
man.
in many different aspects. Uh, but when you see something that catches your attention, got to take action. Because if you
Hmm.
don't, somebody
Someone
else
else
will.
will.
And it can be by the second, you know what I'm saying? You could be taking steps in that direction. And right before you get to somebody else, boom, pops up. And you're like, so what do you do? Do you let it go? Is it worth pursuing? Do you really know what's going on? It could be somebody they with already. It could be somebody trying to holler at them. It could be somebody that just know them, work with them, or related to them. You know what I'm saying? You don't know unless you ask, right? So what you got, bro?
I love what you just did there because what you brought into the equation was the possibilities.
Boom.
And and we all know, at least the way you and I perceive things, the
Mhm.
possibilities are endless.
Yes.
So you have to, I would say, it kind of just depends, right? You have to kind
Right.
of assess the situation, and
Hmm.
you can make a determination from there. Like you said, that could be, for all you know, that could be that woman's brother.
Right, for real,
I
for real,
mean,
for real.
but because you had our mind kind of can have a way to play in tricks on us.
Yes,
So you're thinking, oh, that must be her significant other, and it's kind of like not necessarily the case. I mean,
right,
everything
exactly.
everything is life is intricate in that way, I would say.
Absolutely, man, absolutely. So you got to take action, man. And even if it's anything else, trying to get something off the wall as far as what can happen here. Um, so I was at the grocery store one day, and there was a kid in a basket, and the parent was not paying attention. And I was just walking past, and this kid was just in the process of climbing out of this basket, right? Um, and then the parent came and grabbed the child and was going to pick it up. But from my angle, I could see that the child's leg was tangled in the basket. And as the parent was trying to lift the child out, of course, it was pain on the child. And I'm like, their foot is caught. And, they weren't paying attention. So I was like, again, but louder, their foot is caught, and they just yanking at this. I'm like, hey, their foot is caught in the basket, you know? And then they're like, oh, I'm like, really? I mean, it's your child, right?
Wow.
But if I hadn't have took that action,
Who knows,
man,
right?
you know what I'm saying? So what you got for that, bro?
You know what? There's a saying, and I'm a kind of follow it up with something else.
Okay.
But there's a saying that, life costs you nothing but to mind your own business. But there are just situations where it literally behooves you to not mind your own business, right?
Right.
I mean, because you were kind of really attentive and had the forethought to kind of look out for that child. That child, wasn't hurt any, beyond any point, or maybe
Right.
not even hurt at all ultimately, because
Right.
you were able to alert the parent of what was actually going on because they didn't notice.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
it's one of those things where sometimes it just kind of pays to be attentive, pay attention, be observant.
Mm-hmm.
But it also says a lot about just putting it out there, man. You're not afraid to let somebody know that can help somebody. I think that's,
Right.
people are so quick to always think, oh, there's so much evil in the world, and it is,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
there's also some good in it, and it's good to not mind your business at times.
Absolutely. And it could have went the other way. I could have been like, that ain't my kid. You know what I
Right,
mean? I
right,
could have been
right,
like, oh well, they paying attention, it's on them. But
right.
it's people out there that do that too.
That do that too, right?
But that ain't what we talking about today. That's what we talking about getting away from, right?
That positive reinforcement.
Absolutely, man. So we about to take a change or a different direction here with what we're talking about today, and on what's going on. We always come up with something to do in between to get everybody's mind a little bit loosened up, because we've been bringing some heaviness, right? So I got some examples here on a segment we call "I Done Seen and I Done Heard It All." Man, these are a little different, man, but I think they tie into what we're talking about today. So check it out. Man pulls not one, not two, but 3 planes while walking on his hands. This dude's doing a handstand, bro, and pulling 3 planes behind him. An Italian is pulling small planes by walking on his hands, and breaks the Guinness Book of World Records. I don't know where this world record even started or why it even exists, but that's what people are doing, bro. What are your thoughts, man?
It's different. Like you said, it's different.
Yeah.
Wow, my thoughts are just like, even though it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
it's kind of remarkable in a way of sorts, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
That you can do something like that. So my hat tilts off to this guy. Like that's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing, and it takes belief and achievement and all that other
Wow.
stuff we talked about up
Right.
until now to
To
do
get
something
that
like that.
done. Right.
Absolutely, man. That's a lot of work putting in and a lot of effort to get a great result. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's what it is.
That's a good one.
Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you. And this next one is just way different than that, man. Oh man. Uh Hammerhead shark makes rare visit to Cape Cod. And I did this to be funny, man. Even hammerhead sharks need a vacation every now and then. Oh shoot.
That's
Oh
hilarious.
yeah, man. Oh shoot. And there was one more in here. Bear opens SUV door in a hotel parking lot. So I guess bears are carjacking
Oh
now.
man, just imagine somebody sitting in the car if a bear opens the door though.
But
Right?
see, the owner was on the other side, and they stayed clear of that bear.
I
Be
bet.
like, hey, that's my car, but dog, hey, you
You
do
can
what you
have it right
do.
now. Yeah. Yeah. For real.
Oh shoot! Like the bear read the plate, saw that they was from out of town at the hotel, and about to jack their car SUV. Oh
That's
man,
hilarious.
yeah, man. I didn't see it, and I didn't
I done
heard it
heard it
all,
all.
bro. Oh man, that's crazy. So now let's recap again. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for hanging out with us and being with us. If you're with us every weekend, that's great. We appreciate you for it, and we try to have something for you every time. So the title of today is: Are you a believer? Are you an achiever? Or are you a deceiver? We already highlighted believer and achiever. Now it's time to shift gears and talk about: Are you a deceiver?
Hmm.
Oh man, what we got here? So our first bullet on "Are you a deceiver?" is you mentioned it earlier.
Hmm.
Let's bring it back. Do you operate from emotions?
Wow. I will say that in this world, man, uh more oftentimes than not, you're gonna definitely uh see scenarios where people are definitely operating on emotions.
Hmm.
And sometimes they leave logic and rationale at the window, at home, and it's just kind of like, you have to. I understand that there's a time and a place for everything. So even
Yep.
emotions have a place,
Yeah,
in
absolutely.
our everyday lives. I mean, they have to.
Hmm.
But you have to understand if you're operating on an emotional plane all the time. I think that's the
Boy.
problem.
Yeah, yeah.
That's exhausting. Like
Yeah, it
even
is.
just thinking about it.
For
So
real.
I think, you know, when you're operating on emotion, it could make you, I think, more inclined into being deceptive.
Yes. Yeah.
Because sometimes there's this thing called greed,
Mm.
and we can go so many different directions with this, but I will say greed and selfishness kind of really stand out when you're dealing with emotions, because you don't since your rationale is so eliminated in your thought
Boy.
process. I mean, they just kind of have free reign with it.
Free reign. Wow. Hey man, that's putting it on. Uh to the point to where I gotta say this. People don't realize how if you let your emotions overpower you, you not only become a deceiver of everyone else, but you also become a deceiver
To
of
yourself.
yourself.
Man.
And that's a dangerous place to be in, bro.
Wow.
What you got, bro?
It kind of leads me. You kind of set me up nicely for this.
Absolutely.
Where it's one of those things where when people lie, right?
Mm,
You know, the pathological liars have to keep telling lies to cover up the previous lies they told.
boy.
So they don't understand or get the fact that there comes a point in time where you tell so many lies that you actually start to believe the lies that you tell.
And you forget the truth. And you lose track of the lies you done told already.
Right. Right.
Which is a whole nother ball of wax.
Man.
So you putting all these lies out there, creating these alternate universes, and then
Man, right.
and then you get to
Right.
a point to where you forget which road you done altered from the natural road that was always the truth, and you end up talking to the same person or one of the people that your lies have gotten to in the beginning, telling a new lie that catches you in the end. What you got, bro?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things where it becomes a full-time job in unto
Man,
itself.
man,
Where when you take on that kind of unnecessary baggage,
boom. Right, you doing way too much. It's unnecessary, and you're making it harder on yourself.
I was just getting ready to say that. You took it right out of my mouth.
That's what we do. That's what we do. Man, anything else, bro?
No, man. I think we're on the same wavelength, and I hope the audience, I hope you guys are getting where we're coming from.
Absolutely, and more importantly, seeing where we're going with this.
Right, right.
Second on the deceiver list, do you follow? Last time we was talking about a leader. Now we're talking about do you follow? So let me lead with this one, bro.
Okay.
Let's say you're in a group of people and y'all want to do something. You're at the mall. You're trying to decide where to go, what to do. And as a group, everybody's like, well, I'm hungry. I want to go eat. Okay, so where do you want to go to eat? You know, I want to go here. I want to go here. I want to go here. And then collectively, you all decide somebody's decision in the beginning leads to y'all ending up at this same restaurant, right? Because they have maybe a variety that kind of suits everybody's, appetite.
Preference, right?
Yeah, the word preference. So let me change that scenario. I mentioned the bear and the carjacking, so let's just go with that. Somebody wants to jack a car, right? And you kicking it with Thug Nation today.
Man.
But you're not all the way in on the thug life. But they all in and they like, come on, let's go ahead and do this. Do you go ahead and follow the thug life and get yourself all the way in on that end? Or do you like, hey, you know what? I'm good. Y'all my dogs. I'm good with y'all, but y'all know that ain't me. Y'all know that ain't me. I'm gonna go ahead and go this way. I'm gonna figure we talked about this. I'm gonna forget about everything we discussed prior to now. I'm gonna go do what I gotta do, right? I got responsibilities. I got a job, I got a car, I got a family, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be over here. Y'all do what y'all do. And then when y'all get done with that and want to kick it again, here I am, right? As long as the police ain't involved.
Man.
What you got, bro?
It kind of sets me up for this. Discretion is a huge tool.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to get to the point where you have to. I'm gonna make a statement and then I'm gonna bring it back around to this point.
All right.
So there's a statement that you have to be able to follow before you can learn to lead.
Okay.
But I think I'm gonna add this. You have to learn not to follow by being a leader.
Boom. That's nice, man.
and
Go ahead and
because,
expound on that, bro.
because in this situation, that's where it becomes relevant, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, okay, I want to do this. Let's do it. You know, it's obviously not the right thing to do, but they're, determined to do the wrong thing today.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So it's kind of up to somebody to be a good voice of reason to say,
Right.
you know what? I don't advise y'all do this. I would strongly advise y'all not to do this, but I'm gonna go ahead and bow out and not do this.
Right, right.
In that case, it doesn't profit you to be a follower,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So sometimes you have to understand that I have to be a leader even in the midst of people trying to get you to be a follower sometime.
Man, that's great. And that sets me up to back that up. So let's say I stood my ground. I'm going back to my life, which is a good life. And then let's say you or one of the other two, and they're like, man, Evolution's a sucker, man. He's soft, man. And then you be like, it's poetic. Like, yo. Evolution might be some things, but he definitely ain't no sucker. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna bow out too. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go back to doing what I need to do because he got a strong point. You know what I'm saying? And then you follow that, and guess what? The rest follow you. What you got for that, bro?
Wow. That's a great point, because a situation that actually could have went incredibly wrong in so many different ways ends up being something that doesn't go wrong at all because someone had the fortitude to not be a follower.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in turn, those who were trying to follow the wrong example ended up following the right example.
The right example.
So that works both ways, man. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
One person can make a difference.
And they usually do. Problem is, which difference are they making?
Right.
Moving on, excuse me. So, do they follow? The next one, do you do things based on hearsay? Wow. Wow. What you got for that, bro?
I think and I've always operated a little differently when it comes to hearsay, because it's hearsay.
Yeah.
If you don't know it as a definitive fact, and we mentioned facts earlier,
absolutely,
you always want to give something or someone the benefit of a doubt.
True.
I think we all deserve that grace, because it's like, for example, if I hear something about you, Evolution believes this or said this, and it's kind of like, well, I haven't heard it from Evolution's mouth.
Right.
So, at that point, I can approach it through a few different ways. I can, leave it alone. I can come to you and say, hey, did you say this? But I think, in short, the real moral of it all is to not just take it as, pure fact. You have to take things with a grain of salt, because someone could just be trying to sabotage Evolution's character or reputation.
Boy,
it could be a whole lot of different things at play that goes into a grand deception.
Boy, so, and hearsay is usually one of them.
Exactly. Exactly.
Boy, man, that was a great example, bro. I got a lot of ways I can go with this. I think I'm just gonna leave it alone.
Okay.
I think I'm just gonna leave it alone, because I think your point made the point.
Nice.
All right. So next, we're looking at, do you focus on the negatives? So we already talked about the positives. Now we're talking about the negatives, and how it relates to the deceiver. Are you a deceiver? So I hope you're seeing what we're doing here. right?
Hmm.
I hope you're seeing what we're doing here and how we're building it up. So let's just say somebody's negatively motivated, bro. They nothing positive interest them. They only watch movies that deal with betrayal. Uh, they only watch movies that are murder mysteries and whatnot, stuff like that. Not saying that those are bad things, but when it's all you do and it's all you focus on, that's where all your energy is going. It's all negative. What are you building for yourself as far as a life, man? What you got for that, bro?
You know, uh, too much of anything is bad for you. So,
Right.
so I think we have to understand that again. And I use this, analogy through the course of our first two seasons, and now we're on our third.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but you have to understand that what you eat is what you are. You are what you eat. So what you consume, and this is just in life itself, uh, definitely is going to manifest itself in one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
So if everything you do is of a negative mindset and it's geared toward a negative perspective,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna, basically have negative results, negative beliefs. Uh, it's gonna be a whole negative diaspora for your life,
Boy, which is a negative thing, bro.
man.
Let me go here because you said too much of anything is bad for you. Let me flip this real quick. Is too much positivity bad for you?
That's a great point. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and humor you for a minute.
Okay, okay. You know what I'm doing.
Yeah, yeah. I won't definitively just be like, oh yeah, but I will say
Mhm.
it is possible for too much positivity to be bad for you, because if you don't understand the impacts of negativity,
Mhm.
the positivity doesn't mean so much.
Ooh, elaborate.
Almost like me and popular culture. So I got to go here, and I think you'll be able to appreciate this.
Uh-huh.
There's a song called "Joy and Pain" by Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Right.
The whole point of the song is, joy doesn't mean so much unless you've already experienced so much pain.
Mm.
Uh, you know, the happiness isn't as fulfilling, or isn't so fulfilling, because you've understood the sadness and you've went through the hardships. Uh,
Mm.
so it's just one of those things where when you've had, negative experiences, through however it comes, life is life.
Mhm.
But if when you've had those negative experiences, when you get to those positive experiences, you cherish them and you relish them a lot more, because you're like, I know what the other side looks like.
Ooh, let me flip that. I got a good one. I got
Okay.
a good one. So let's just say
Uh-huh.
you were born in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
You came up through the what's considered the not so successful part of life, right?
Uh-huh.
That's all you know. That's
Right.
all you've been exposed to. Been
Right.
in the hood your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I was born with a silver spoon in my mouth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I know. The good things, the great things. It's nothing to spend $1,000 at the mall, every week. Um, I'm riding something super nice that don't cost less than 100 G's. You know what I'm saying? I'm eating real, real good food. You know what I'm saying? Not just bologna sandwiches and whatnot. I'm going to the 5-star establishments, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having 7-course meals. A lot of people might not even know what I'm talking about right now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm experiencing the good life. You know what I'm saying? Uh, the brand names, if you know what I mean. Not just the Walmart brand names, but the brand names. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The real Gucci, not the knockoffs. You know what I'm
Right. Right.
saying? So let's just say this is how you grew up. This is how I grew up. We meet. We trying to have a conversation, and you're not relating to anything I'm saying, and I'm not relating to anything you're saying, because everything that you bring to the point or to the table or to the conversation is from a negative perspective, right? And everything I bring to the conversation is from a positive perspective. So we can't, we ain't doing like this. We doing it, we bumping heads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I have no idea what it's like in your neighborhood. I have no clue. I've never been exposed to it. And
Mm-hmm.
vice versa. You know, you have no idea what it's like in my neighborhood. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, what are your thoughts, bro?
All great points for sure. So I'll say this. I mentioned the impacts of negativity
Mm-hmm.
because, sometimes, in the case that you brought up, one person had a whole lot of negativity in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I never was like of the mindset that this person was negative minded, but it was just more of an assessment of they understood the balance of both, and because they've had and experienced so much of that negativity, you know, I always say you can have two people who grow up in a household,
Mm-hmm.
but yet they're totally different, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One person might lean toward a negative aspect, one
Mm-hmm.
person might lean more toward a positive aspect,
Mm-hmm.
but they both grew up in the same house, maybe both having the same, mother and father or what have you.
Right.
And it's kind of like, yet they have such different perspectives on life itself. So I guess the only point I was really making is they value the positive, because they've understood that what the negative really does have in terms of impact.
True.
Realizing what they've went through, how they grew up,
Mm-hmm.
and I always say, and I kind of speak to this directly. Just because you grew up a certain way doesn't mean you have to stay in that way. You know what I mean? So,
Absolutely. And,
so
and
that's
and I'm
kind of
there.
the point I was making.
Right. Right. And I'm with you. And I'm with you. And I understand. And I understand the point you're making. I'm with you. But are you understanding the point that I'm making?
Absolutely.
All right. So we got different backgrounds who unfortunately didn't come up in the same household,
Right.
who didn't experience
The
both
same.
sides.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So they never had those experiences. So what I'm identifying now is different walks of life.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So if you grew up in a household of a superpower attorney or a superpower
Doctor or
doctor,
right.
you know what I'm saying? You grew up in a family of money, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or you grew up in wealth, and you become a politician, and now you're making laws and writing laws for the so-called people of the public. You have no idea
Right.
how to even write the
How
laws that will be fair for those
and
who grew up.
beneficial because you've never experienced that other side of life.
Boom. Did I
Uh-huh.
just break it down? Did
Absolutely.
I just break it down? I think everybody
That's a
know.
bullseye. Yeah.
All right, there we go.
That's a bullseye.
If you didn't get what I just put down, think about it. Ask somebody. I put something in your face right there.
I love that. That was great.
Thank you. So that's do you focus on the negatives, man? We got real with that one. And the last bullet point of the day when it comes to deceiver, are you a deceiver? Is do you make excuses? I left this one for the last on purpose, bro. because we got a lot of people out there making excuses every day. Only two. It's only a couple of them. Seriously, understating that one. What you got, bro?
Man, I think when it comes to excuses, for people like you and I, there isn't much room for them.
Right, right, right.
But unfortunately, we live in a world where I think excuses are something that actually drives some people.
Mm.
They use excuses to justify why they haven't even tried.
Ooh.
Because and the reason I take it there is because, you know, a lot of times people underestimate their own value, which we talked about, making sure we value each other and value ourselves correctly.
Absolutely.
We can't give the world something that we don't have, right?
Right.
So it's one of those things where if you don't have any belief in yourself, you know, you just, there's no room for achievement because you don't even
You
have
might as well be a
you,
deceiver.
right, right. Seriously. I mean, because you're gonna fall into these categories, you know, one of
Mhm.
these categories, right?
Yeah.
Um so I mean, I would say the best way to be is to obviously understand your value. There is nothing more valuable than life itself. Like we always put a monetary number on a celebrity. Oh, this celebrity's worth, you know, $2 billion, or you know, just
Mhm.
whatever the case we throw
Yeah, yeah.
out.
Hmm.
And it's kind of like you have to understand that even you are worth more than that. But you have to understand that you're worth more than that, because if you don't, it's going to be hard for you to actually make any kind of difference, even in your own personal life, for the positive.
Man, look, I'm gonna go here, bro. That was great, but I'm gonna say it like this, and this is kind of point blank. When we enter into this world, we enter into this world with everything we need in life, um, and then we are taught every day to think that we need different things that are of less value
Hmm.
in a manner that it's worth more than what we came into this world with. Uh, and then funny how when you leave this world, you leave this world with what you came in with.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? No matter what is accomplished in the middle, uh, that's some food for thought, right?
I
Uh,
love that.
thank you, man. So does it really matter that this person over here is super wealthy and this person is lacking what they should have in a day? Uh, it's what you're working with. You know what I'm saying? We all have the same platform when we're born, right? It's just how we're received, how we're treated, how we're understood, and how we're respected while we're here. What you got, bro?
Wow, I love what you said, but I do want to make this statement.
Mm-hmm.
I have one slight disagreement. So
Okay.
I think we all do come in, you know, how we come in.
Yep. 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 Yep.
Obviously, you know, through a woman, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's just that I think everyone's entrance is so different. Because kind of to a point that you made previously, some people come in, you know, with a silver spoon in their mouth per se, where everything
Mm-hmm.
is just set up for, you know, so much success. And one of those things where let's just face it, they couldn't fail even if they tried. uh where you know, others come in, and some people do become diamond in the roughs, where, you know, they come from these incredibly impossible circumstances
Mm-hmm.
to, achieve much.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but we all know that the majority who come from those circumstances are not going to make those achievements.
Why?
So you're asking me why?
Yeah, I'm asking you why.
Well, um,
What? I'm just gonna throw it off the
talent.
top of my head.
Yeah, go
Talent.
ahead. Go ahead.
Talent.
I mean, I always say, I always say talent is equally distributed,
Hmm.
but I just never feel the opportunity is.
Let me tell you why. Let me
Uh-huh.
tell you why. I'm gonna bridge the gap between us right now because
Gotcha.
you always sit there, you always go that direction,
I
and
know.
you
I
always,
can't help it.
always go another. I'm about to bridge that gap, and I'm gonna say the reason those people are few and in short uh, of becoming Oprahs after
Hmm.
having a rough start. Let's say it like
Hmm.
that. It's because they're a little bit emotional. They are followers. They follow instead of lead. Um, they operate on hearsay. They stay away from the facts, and they're negative. On top of that, I'm pretty sure they make a lot of excuses. What you got, bro? What
I
you
love
got?
what you just did there with
Yeah,
using every example to cover that basis point. That was
yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
Uh, but I'm gonna just take it here,
Okay.
because I think it's relevant.
All
So
right.
I don't think, and I mean, don't get me wrong, the Oprah Winfrey's and the Tyler Perry's and the Jay-Z's, whoever we want to mention, that's
Mm-hmm.
just, have this huge image and have achieved so much. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they all these people have done extraordinary things. But man, I'm just talking about just being in a situation where life is not what you entered it in at, as like, I'm not saying you have to be a billionaire, but you don't want to, die in the same poverty stricken situation that you came in, right? Um, I just think I always say this, and this might bother you too, but I'm gonna go here anyway. I don't think it's always what you know, but I think in a lot of cases, in most cases, who you know, because I can guarantee that every single last person that we've mentioned
Mm-hmm.
still ran into someone in their life's journey somewhere along the line who had some kind of something of a connection that allowed them an opportunity to be successful. Of course, it's on them to do what they will. Like
Right.
sometimes you can, have a good connect and just say, "Oh, I don't need that," and you'll, live with regret for the rest of your life because you could have been this and you didn't. But all I'm saying is that you can literally go through life and never get the opportunity. I mean, you can create so much. I mean, I believe that. I believe that.
Okay, okay. About your belief, bro. About your
Uh-huh.
belief.
Uh-huh.
I'm different because I think people get, excuse me, opportunities every day,
Mm-hmm.
and either they believe that that opportunity is real,
Mm-hmm.
or they become an achiever to make that opportunity happen, or they deceive themselves out of that opportunity. But
Wow.
on the real, bro, opportunities are out there every day for everybody, and it's just how you look at it, how you accept it, how you receive it, how you take advantage of it, or how you let it pass you by. To me, that's the difference between your thought process and mine. I understand where you at, and
Mm-hmm.
believe me, I get it, and there's relevance to it. And a lot of people may believe you or follow that thought process,
Mm-hmm.
or a lot of people may believe me and follow my thought process.
Right.
but at the end of the day, bro, um, we have proof that it don't matter where you're from. It really don't. we all have something to work with when we're born
Hmm.
or what we come into,
Hmm.
and it's just how we build that into something else, or how we let that become an excuse to keep us from building anything. That's what I got, bro.
I love it, and I know we went a pretty long, fairly long with this show, so I'm gonna just
Uh-huh.
kind of close my little part out with this.
All right.
I you know, I don't misunderstand what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. Evolution and I are both positive-minded people. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But I'll just say it this way, man, because I know, again, there are, situations, man, where people are, even though you're born into what you're born into, whether it be positive or negative,
Mm,
um, yes, we've seen people come from, less than nothing, to make it. But we all know that the stats on if we took a statistical poll, right, which is a facts based thing of all the people who've entered the world in those situations, right,
mm,
it's only an incredibly small percentage of those people who make you know that kind of impact in life, right, to where, oh yeah, yeah, for sure,
oh,
for sure.
I'm just thinking.
For
I'm
sure.
just thinking why. I'm just thinking. I mean, I know your statistics is
Yeah,
on
yeah.
point,
Right,
but
right,
I'm like,
right,
why? They don't
right.
have to be. You know what I'm saying? Um, and that's the way I look at things. It
Sure.
don't have to be like that.
Right,
But that's what people make it. You know what I'm saying?
right.
There's a grading scale for a reason. Um, can everybody make an A? Yes. Does everybody make an A? No. Why? Because somebody tries a little bit harder than others, right?
Yeah,
Because
sure.
you have the same opportunity to study, you have the same opportunity to learn out the same book, right? And you have the same opportunity to take the same test that the other people are taking. The difference is how much effort this person put into it, how much this person understands it, and how much this person completes the whole process. Uh, Even if you don't understand something, you can get that information, right? But you have to pursue that information. You know what I'm saying? You don't know
Oh,
what's in the chapter until you read it, right?
ooh, that was perfect.
Thank you. Go ahead.
In short, I'm gonna take less than a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I promise. um, can you fail taking the same exact test as someone else who gets an A? All right, yeah, I know y'all gonna hate me for this, but that's okay. I'm here for it. Well, they taught us that in 1492, Christopher Columbus discovered America. Okay, we'll go with that. But if you're someone who knows better, how can you discover a continent in which people are already on? Like, so if I answer the question accordingly, like that's impossible for him to discover, they're going to say I basically failed because I didn't give them the answer that they wanted from a history book that they made up. This is the point that I'm making, y'all.
That was a great point, man. And we ain't got time to debate that because we're gonna run into the next show that's gonna
Oh my
air here in a
God.
few minutes.
All
But
right.
we'll leave it at that, man. We can go like this all day. You know that, man.
This was fun, and I appreciate you all for sticking with us.
Absolutely, man. And we'll definitely get probably into something like that on another episode. But thank you for hanging around. Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for taking heed to what we're saying. We just putting it out there, and it's up to you to receive it and imply it to try to help your life get better. All right, man. That's all I got. You got anything else?
Just want to thank everybody for tuning in, and please join us next week.
All right. Y'all take care. We got an episode of That's Life coming up at the top of the hour. And then, hey, we'll catch you next week. Peace and
Peace.
love. Y'all take care.